Well, that was a very interesting Summerslam, I will say. The last match, not the Universal Championship, but the WWE Championship match, got me a little upset. But we'll get to that when we get there. Let's just jump right into this. You guys are listening to the Fusion Corp YouTube channel. This is going to be my section again with wrestling and what seemed to be the longest party of the summer that you just want to go home and don't even want to stay at the party. SummerSlam. It got started very, very early, so bear with me. I might seem tired, but let's just go over these matches. Like I said again, this is Fusion Corp with me and my boy Pete doing these. Let's get right into the wrestling review. Alright, so for the pre-show of SummerSlam, we got a 6-man tag team with the Miztourage versus the team of Jason Jordan and the Hardy Boys. Matt and Jeff Hardy, if you don't know. This match was boring, is what I kind of put down on my notes. I like to take notes when I watch this stuff. I got boring, very, very lackluster to me. I understand what they're trying to do with Jason Jordan, build him up as Kurt Angle's son, but I just don't see it working. It's not something I'm interested in as a feud, or not as a feud, but as a storyline. It's not very interesting to me. And once again, I love The Miz, especially what he did when he did his work in 2016 on SmackDown. But I don't think even he can save this feud with Jason Jordan. So, not really much that to talk about other than that. The Miz gets the win and pins Jason Jordan. The next match we got is the Cruiserweight match between Neville and Akira Tazawa for the Cruiserweight Championship. Like always, Neville brings the intensity. I think he's probably the best Cruiserweight wrestler that there is in this WWE currently. It was a little weird that they decided just to remove the title off of Neville just for a couple days for whatever reason. I have no idea. But what was noticeable in this match, and kind of I didn't bring it on the first match, but it's just the crowd was empty. I mean, this is the reason why you shouldn't have these pre-show matches. There's too many open seats. You can't really show the crowd reaction or anything like that. So, of course, it was just very kind of boring to watch. I mean, it was a good match because, Tazawa and Neville are good workers. But, I mean, other than that, it wasn't really anything interesting because in my opinion, I thought it was just going to be the same result, which was that Neville was going to win because no one is really on that Neville level. And that's really all I need to say on that. Neville finally succeeds on the Red Arrow and wins the championship back from Tazawa. Next match that we have here is probably one that should not be on the pre-show and should have been on the main card, was the New Day versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team belt. This was such a great match. I think it might have been match of the night. And I kind of called it when I was watching it. I called it then. But, there's still so many matches that you really couldn't say much. But I thought this was a great match. Both teams worked well. They had great spots. There was a couple times where there was a couple false finishes that were very good and got me saying, oh, come on, how did the New Day kick out of that? Or how the Usos kick out of that? But it was a very entertaining match. Should have, like I said again, should have been on the main show. And 2 Usos from the top rope wins them the match and the new tag team belts. Up next, starting on the main show and starting to kick open the show, was Baron Corbin versus Cena. Like I said in the review before, this should have been a beatdown from Baron Corbin. I don't see why they had to have Cena win this match, because I felt like Baron Corbin could have done something with it. But it turns out to be different. Let's go over the match a little bit. I saw that it was not a bad match. I thought it was decent. Good little action between Baron Corbin and John Cena. The rumors that we've heard is that there's a little backstage heat on Baron Corbin for his mic work and wrestling ability, especially towards John Cena. And I don't know what those rumors were about, because when I was watching the match, I thought it was pretty decent, good. Nothing that was too bad, nothing that was too good, but it was a solid match that was a great open to the show. And I guess this match really just proved to us that the rumors were true, that, Baron Corbin's push was halted and he's got a little bit of heat on him. Because in this, John Cena wins with the AA, kind of just buries Corbin a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say he's completely buried, but he's close to it. I mean, if there was the closest of the closest that you could get to it, then that's what he is. And it's a little sad to see. I'm a little frustrated. Not frustrated in terms of, Corbin was my guy or anything, but, frustrated for a character like that, especially when you give him the Money in the Bank briefcase. It just kind of proved to be, as Matt Hardy would say, obsolete. I don't understand why he got it, but, it is what it is for that one. We just have to move on and live with the result that Baron Corbin is probably not going to get that push that was rumored to be happening, and I guess this is kind of just Cena's way to go to Raw, because they didn't mention anything about him being on SmackDown still. They mentioned him still as a free agent. Just, not really too much else in this match. Cena, again, wins with the AA. The next match on the SummerSlam card, Natty versus Naomi, or Natalya versus Naomi, for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The crowd, when I saw it, they were still in it. I liked that the crowd was still invested in, and they were still loud and cheerful. It was a decent match. Not really too much to complain there. You get what you get with Natty and Naomi. Both great workers, especially Naomi. I felt she did a really good job with all of her stuff, and it just came down to whoever the booking decision wanted it to be. And I guess we're getting a new champion as Natalya wins with the sharpshooter on Naomi. Next match we got, and this one probably should have been on the pre-show, is going to be the Enzo in the Shark Cage with Big Show versus Big Cass. This match, completely boring. I still don't know what WWE is doing sometimes. You just get upset because you had such a great match with the tag teams for SmackDown, and you just have this crap. This crap somehow made the card, and I just don't understand it. I mean, it was boring. The crowd was dead. No one was really that excited for it. I mean, the match started off with like a 20-minute promo from Enzo that, it's just your typical Enzo promos. And I can understand why there's a lot of backstage heat with him now. So there's that going for him. It was just really stupid. Should have been on the pre-show. And nothing else to talk about here. Winner is Big Cass with the Empire Elbow to Big Show. Another match that probably should have been on the pre-show, and rumors are, with this next guy, that he might be leaving, is going to be the Randy Orton versus Rusev match. It was just kind of amazing to me that they placed this match right after the Big Show and Cass match, because this was another match that was boring. But in a surprising fashion, this match only lasted 5 minutes. 5 minutes for Rusev. I mean, I guess, the rumors are heating up that Rusev wants to leave WWE and he's asked for his release. I would too. I would be very upset if I knew that I was getting a WWE Championship in my future, and because of an injury, it got a little bit derailed, and then I end up here where I'm battling Randy Orton in like a 5-minute match. It upsets me because, Rusev is a great talker on the mic. I like his charisma that he gives off, and it's just very, very upsetting that just had to be the result of this match. Why does Rusev have to take the loss? I mean, we all know that Randy took so many L's that, of course, he had to get a win eventually. But it's still very upsetting to see that Rusev just got buried like that. I mean, there's no words for it. I'm just very frustrated with it. Nothing else to talk about here. 5-minute match. Randy Orton wins with the RKO. Next match we have here is Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. This was not as good as the Great Balls of Fire match. I would say it's a very decent match. I wouldn't say it was anything good towards the Great Balls of Fire match, like I said. But it was still a good match nonetheless. I think this kind of solidifies Sasha Banks as probably the best women's wrestler in the WWE right now. She puts on great matches. And the thing about her is that she even brought Nia Jax to a great match twice when they wrestled. Or whenever they wrestled, Sasha brings her to a great match. And that's what a great wrestler does, gets the best out of both of you guys. When, you don't want just one guy carrying, because then it just looks very not as well. Let me know what you guys think about this. I was talking to my friend a little bit earlier during these matches, and he says that he hates submission finishers now. And, I don't mind him as long as, it doesn't happen again on the show. And it's like a finisher that is like really recognizable, kind of like the figure 4 leg lock or the Walls of Jericho or the Boston Crab. Kind of those famous locks. If it's one of those, then I'm, excited for it because it's the wrestler's finisher. So, of course, he's got to be able to finish with it. But, like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What you guys think of submission finishers. And we have here Alexa Bliss tapping out to the bank statement put on by Sasha Banks. Next match we got up here is the Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt match. Very exciting match towards the beginning. The crowd was hot for that Demon Balor because we haven't seen it in probably a year since he wrestled Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, which to me he probably should go out there and try and get. But it was such a good time seeing the Demon Balor. We barely get to see him, and it was very exciting to see that. It was a good match that, the crowd was into it. I was kind of surprised about that because I thought it was going to be another throwaway match where the crowd was just kind of sitting on their hands waiting for the other matches to come that they're important to them, kind of like the Nakamuras and the Fatal 4-Way at the end. But it was still a good showing by the crowd. Again, I will probably mention this later in the review, but the crowd was awesome today. Very, very energetic, very upgoing, a very smart crowd. They know they're wrestling, so that's what made that crowd and that pay-per-view probably better than what it was. But continuing on to talk about this match with Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor is, I don't know if Bray should leave the WWE or not, because obviously they're not doing anything with him. There's no championship in line. He lost to the Demon, which, of course, he was going to lose to the Demon because the Demon is a rare character that hasn't been out in a while. But I just think he's such a great talker on the mic, and he's such a great wrestler that I don't understand how WWE doesn't do anything with that. It's very frustrating to see that. Bray Wyatt is probably a unique character that you should probably keep built up. But, knowing WWE, they will never do that with him for some reason. I don't know if it's because he doesn't have the look. Because I definitely think he has the mic talk and the wrestling skills to be probably a great world champion for like a long reign, not just this short reign that was earlier in early 2017, late 2016. But yeah, it's just frustrating to see that these guys don't get any kind of respect from the higher ups or the writers to kind of build the characters the right way. But nevertheless, Finn Balor wins with the coup de grace to Bray Wyatt, and Finn gets a win that hopefully maybe pushes him to the world title spot that, he deserves. Next matchup is the Raw Tag Team Championship with Cesaro and Sheamus versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. This was a very good long match. They did a very good job building it up for the Raws leading up to SummerSlam. With the tensions between the two guys of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, once belonging to the Shield as a tag team, getting betrayed. Dean Ambrose was by Seth Rollins, and it was good to see that they built that up in the leading on to the pay-per-view. And it kind of made the go-home show, like I said in my review, very special and unique, and actually made it a go-home show. And that's why I was excited for this match. Like I said, it was probably the second best feud on Raw, behind the Universal Championship. And it was just good to see that they did a very good job building up to this match. It was a great long match. Cesaro, great worker. Seth Rollins, another great worker. Dean, I feel like, is a little inconsistent, but, he does a good job when he needs to. And Sheamus is just Sheamus. I still am not, the biggest fan of Sheamus, but I can appreciate his work and what he does in the ring. And again, like I said, the crowd was just great. They were into it. They made sure that when the fist bump occurred, they went wild and ballistic. And that's what I enjoyed about that match. It was nothing really much else in this match to me. It was a good match, like I said, but nothing that I would go, wow, it was probably match of the night. So a Dirty Deeds to Sheamus wins the match, and your new Raw Tag Team Champions are Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Next up, we had the U.S. title match with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, with Shane McMahon as the special guest referee. It was a little interesting in this match. You know, Shane took a lot of bumps because the storyline goes is that the refs keep getting in the way of these matches, and it was nothing. And it was just the same with Shane being the referee, that he just took all these bumps. So Kevin Owens used him as probably a shield. He's used as a shield. Kevin versus Shane is probably looking more eminent now because of the interaction between the two. It was apparent to see that Kevin Owens was just getting frustrated with Shane because there was just points where Shane should have counted to the 3, but he didn't per storyline. And it kind of just was funny a little bit. I saw a GIF that had Kevin Owens saying that Shane McMahon's jumped off of buildings, and like, how could he not get up from taking a kick to the face? So I chuckled at that when I saw it on Twitter. And we kind of saw a little tension between AJ Styles and Shane McMahon as well when I was watching. Like I said, Shane hit another 2 count, which AJ Styles thought was a 3 count, and it was funny, not funny, but it was a little interesting to see that the dynamic between AJ Styles and Shane, seeing if they would, attack each other or go at each other. But nevertheless, this was always going to be built around Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. AJ Styles was about to get the 3 count, but of course he puts his foot up on the ropes. Shane saw it, stopped the count. Kevin Owens thought he won, but he did not win when Shane told him that. And Kevin Owens got very upset, started pushing Shane McMahon. And of course, it led to Kevin Owens being distracted, which led to Kevin Owens taking the Styles Clash from AJ Styles. And AJ Styles wins with the Styles Clash, which I feel like should happen more often. I don't know why the Styles Clash sometimes doesn't finish people. I understand, when you go against Super Cena, it's different. But, let's protect these finishers. I'm getting a little sick of the finishers not being able to finish, as what their title is called, the opponent. But, it took 2 style clashes to finish Kevin Owens, and AJ Styles retains the U.S. Championship. This next match is going to be more of a rant for me. I am a huge Nakamura fan. I loved the stuff he did in New Japan. I thought he was probably one of the greatest wrestlers that I've ever watched. I think his finisher's the best. And when he went to NXT, he was treated as such a Brock Lesnar-esque type of character where he was put on the pedestal, didn't wrestle that much during the shows for the weeks. He wrestled more during the takeovers. And just seeing this match made me so upset that I was contemplating, and I'm still contemplating, whether or not to unsubscribe to the WWE Network. This character is probably a once-in-a-lifetime talent. And I don't know who Jinder Mahal is satisfying in the back. I don't know if Vince McMahon is getting a little something from him. But I am getting so upset with Jinder Mahal. Even though I loved his finisher, or not finisher, but his entrance today, it was probably made him look like a champion, a legit champion, which they haven't done this whole run that he's been on. So that also irks me, that they saved like the best stuff for SummerSlam when they should have saved his best stuff. They should have used it during his feuds with Randy Orton, during his feuds with whoever else he was wrestling. I thought that would have been way better for him. But, I mean, they just jobbed out Nakamura. I wouldn't say they jobbed him out, but I'm saying it. They jobbed him out. I'm very upset with this. Nakamura should have won easily. I'm just tired of it. Nakamura is probably the best wrestler in that company besides AJ Styles. It should have been AJ Styles and Nakamura for the championship. Going into not SummerSlam, but WrestleMania. And we get this crap. Jinder's not good in the ring. I'm not going to put it lightly. I'm not going to say it lightly. Jinder sucks in the ring. The memes of him, when he first was guaranteed the championship opportunity, it was fun. We were all cheering for it because, we were sick of Randy Orton. But this has got to stop. We got to build up our guys again. I'm tired of not seeing building up characters. I mean, we get this jobber who jobbed out to Finn Balor, and then all of a sudden was during a shakeup, gets moved over to SmackDown, wins, an opportunity for the championship, and the build wasn't there where it's believable. He's not a believable champion. He doesn't give off his voice when he talks doesn't give off that presence. Of course the body does because he's jacked. Not sure. I mean, he might have taken steroids. He might not have. Who knows? But it's just frustrating to see it. Guys that are really good wrestlers, known for their craft, just lose to this jobber. I mean, it kind of made me mad that Sami Zayn was left off the card if I knew that this was going to happen. Like, I would have rather had John Cena go against Jinder Mahal and taken the loss because it doesn't affect him as much. Because then you could have had Sami Zayn go against Nakamura for a rematch when they were in Brooklyn. And I thought that would have been perfect. But of course, they wanted to put Nakamura in this title opportunity match, take the L of the century against Jinder Mahal, the most unbelievable champion in WWE history. I just get so upset just thinking about it. Jinder is not good. He's not good in the ring. His mic works are terrible. All he's got for him is the look and the entrance. I mean, like I said earlier, the entrance was really cool the way he did it. And that should have given me a hint that he would have won the match. But, me being a Nakamura fan, knowing who Nakamura is and what he brings to the WWE, I was going Nakamura hands down because it made it predictable. But, WWE just making things, just swerving you just for the swerve, going Jinder Mahal winning with the Colossus. Just very stupid. Like I said earlier, frustrating me to the point where I am thinking and contemplating just unsubscribing to the WWE Network and just going to New Japan. I don't understand why the company doesn't respect the talent that is Nakamura and the kind of presence he brings. I mean, you even saw his entrance in the crowd. The way they were just into him and singing along with his theme song. They even brought Michael Jordan's personal violinist. Shout out to that guy. I think he's the best violinist I think I've ever heard in my life. But, you get that crowd reaction. You get everything from Nakamura, and then you just treat him like this, where he just loses to a jobber. I mean, to me, Jinder Mahal is still a jobber. He hasn't changed since he's been on the roster since he's 3MB, with the three-man band with Heath Slater and all them. And it's just, once you get that stigma, I feel like it doesn't go away that easily, and that's why you should have built up Jinder more before. Like, I understand if you wanted Jinder to be the guy, but just build him up first. I mean, all you need to do is just put the mid-card title on him and just build him up if you wanted him to eventually be WWE champion. SmackDown is the land of opportunities, but I didn't know it was the land of handouts where we just give it to superstars that don't deserve it. And, it's just, like I said, it's frustrating to see that Sami Zayn was left off the card for this, and Ty Dillinger was left off the card for this. There's so many guys in the back that work their butts off. I mean, we haven't seen Luke Harper, who had a great match with Randy Orton, and we just don't see it. We don't see these guys, and it just makes me upset that a guy like Jinder Mahal, who just happens to be from Indian descent, gets pushed there because they want to have they want to bring their Indian market up. But, looking at the forums and the Reddits and all the stuff that I look, the people of India don't really like Jinder themselves. They like the other superstars, and it's still frustrating to me that this is what we get with the Jinder Mahal. But enough of this little rant. I just, like I said, I'm a little bit tired. So if my voice sounds kind of funny, it's because this pay-per-view was the longest thing I think I've ever seen. Up next, we got the Universal Fatal 4-Way Championship match with Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, and Roman Reigns. A great match. This is probably one of Lesnar's best match since he's returned from the company because it actually went longer than 5 minutes. And, I enjoyed it. Joe got a big pop at the beginning when everyone was chanting his name. I thought he was my proverbial winner. I thought he was going to win the title. It just made sense because, Brock Lesnar isn't really doing anything with the title. He's not in a feud with anybody. But once we discuss this, I think I'll have a theory as to who Brock Lesnar will be challenging next. So to get things started, Braun Strowman completely looked so strong at the beginning of this match, putting Lesnar through 2 tables and then pushing a table onto Brock Lesnar himself with the crowd just chanting holy crap. And it was kind of funny to see that Brock Lesnar just, looked like that from just Braun Strowman destroying him. We never see Brock Lesnar in these vulnerable moments where he gets dominated by someone. And I think it just makes it more believable because Braun Strowman is big and strong. So, of course, he's going to look and make it believable that he can actually destroy Brock Lesnar. And another thing that led to that was that Lesnar went to the back. He was put on a stretcher and then sent to the back. This match was very, a very decent to good fatal 4-way match. You're always going to get that Roman Reigns spot where he dodges everything, Superman punches, spears, cocks up his fist, punches it to the ground. It just made that kind of stuff predictable, which was kind of boring to me, but I would have rather seen Roman win the title, honestly. A little spoiler alert, Roman does not win the title in this match. It actually belongs to Lesnar, who pinned Roman Reigns after everyone else was taken out in this match. The theory that I'm going to be talking about here is that because Braun Strowman wrecked Brock Lesnar in this match, it makes me to believe that it's going to be Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman in the next pay-per-view, whichever one that is. I am not sure. I think it's No Mercy. I believe I saw the adverts for it. And it'll be interesting to see what Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar will be able to bring, because I thought their dynamic was very interesting when I was watching Braun Strowman completely destroy him. We'll see what goes on from there. I want to see especially what's going to be happening with Jinder Mahal, how long his reign is going to last, because that's probably one of the key points that I took out of SummerSlam was, what's going to happen with Jinder Mahal now? What's the main goal, or what's the payoff with Jinder Mahal? Who's going to beat him? And another thing is, what are they going to do with Nakamura? They had him take a loss, even though, he got distracted and lost on a loss from Jinder, but it's still unexcusable. I'm very upset about it. Could have been a lot better of a match. Could have been a different result, but, it is what it is for that one. And just, SummerSlam overall, it wasn't a bad show. I would give it maybe a 7 just for some of the matches, especially the New Day match. That match was gold, Usos being the best tag team, and rightfully so. They got the belts. But other than that, nothing else was really that memorable. Baron Corbin took a loss. That's another upsetting factor there, Natty versus Naomi, didn't really care for that much. The 6-man tag at the pre-show, if you want to count the pre-show with lumped all in this, boring. Wasn't really much at the time. The Neville versus Tazawa was okay. But yeah, most of these matches were just okay. Nothing was really that special. Watching TakeOver yesterday from NXT, that Andre Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano match, that was just unbelievable. If you have the network, I would say the network is worth just the NXT. The way that they went against each other was just amazing, and also that women's match. Man, I think that match, to me, is probably the best NXT Women's Championship match ever. Certainly, I wouldn't say it was match of the night for the NXT, but I definitely would say it's a great match. But the theme with that is that NXT knows what to do. They had most of these storylines not really being built up that well because they only built them up in a few weeks, but they were able to get the best wrestling out of it and got the crowd really invested. They were in the same venue. They were in the Barclays Center. How does a show like NXT, which is small and done in Florida, how does that show just outdo your SummerSlam? Raw and SmackDown are your biggest brands, and we get this crap. We get this crap from WWE that is just, how do you not build your superstars the way that NXT does? It makes no sense to me. Triple H is doing something wonderful down there at NXT, and meanwhile Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're doing something stupid. Road Dogg is like, oh, I don't do anything wrong. It's, we have a God complex where I'm always right and the fans are wrong. Well, no. I mean, if you do a Twitter poll, you'll see that NXT takeovers are way better than your SmackDown and your Raw pay-per-views and your shows. I mean, NXT just knows how to do it, especially, Adam Cole, baby, is back, along with the Red Dragons. And it's just sad to see that WWE can easily build storylines similar to NXT, but they just don't do it. They don't do it for some God no reason. I'm just tired of this stuff, and this is just, it's already getting to a long video here, so I don't want to keep you guys waiting too long. But let me know what you guys thought of SummerSlam down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to this video, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.